I've tried my best to keep my mouth shut about this one, but to be honest with you guys, I can't do it anymore. I can't just stay out the way and mind my business when I see so many people being negatively affected by these messages that are coming out of the mouths of these so-called dating experts. Now, I'm not in the dating space, right? Maybe some may consider me as such, but really where I dwell is within self, right? How do we get ourselves healthy enough to have healthy relationships? How do we heal those wounds from the past in order for us to one day have a cohesive relationship? How do we heal as individuals as opposed to seeking a relationship to fix us, to fulfill us, or to stand as some type of validation mechanism for us, right? However, when the messages get so toxic and so destructive, I have to step into that lane. I gotta say something. And the truth is, these modern dating coaches are literally ruining your life. And I don't mean just your dating life, right? Your dating life or your relationships, your intimate relationships, those are a vital aspect of your life, but they're not your whole life. They're not who you are, right? Though the relationship coaches may have you think as such, since they literally have you just thinking about relationship, everything you do is for a relationship. And I know, even from just a male standpoint, the whole manosphere and the red pill, all these sorts of communities are really fixated and focused on how do I become this person in order to attract those type of people, right? It's about them as opposed to me. It's about validation from the external as opposed to the internal. But what I've been hearing, what I've been seeing, more so from the people who now come to me seeking healing, the people who now come to me after these destructive relationships. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing it more there than I am in the content, right? I'm not going to pollute my mind with all those messages, but I know the messages that are coming down the airwaves. I understand the things that are being talked about on a day-to-day basis. And these messages are literally destroying our relationships. Hear me when I say that. Oh, so how they destroying my relationship when I'm glowing up and I'm becoming this and I'm attracting. Well, you know what? If you're attracting the dimes or you're attracting the high value males or whatever it is, and that's what you desire in life, that's your end goal, then perfect. But if what you want is a healthy, sustainable, growing relationship, the last thing you want to do is listen to these damn clowns. And yeah, I'm going to call them exactly what they are. I'm not even talking about somebody in specific. I don't even have an image of somebody. I just know it's clown activity and clown behavior when you tell people such destructive advice. And the advice I'm talking about is the manipulative advice that we continue to perpetuate, right? Or that they continue to perpetuate. The advice of, well, if he does this, you do that. Or if she does this, you do that. Don't text back. Be hot and cold. All this type of manipulation, witchcraft. That's what it is. It's witchcraft. It don't matter which craft you think it is witchcraft. No, but you don't understand. Like, women these days, the only way they're going to respond to you. Okay, so if you already have a perception that women these days are a certain way or men these days are a certain way, you're already coming in with a bias, and that bias is not working for your greater good. So you have this image in your head of what all people are like. So you start to attract those people into your experience, and anybody who's not like them, you won't even give the time of day, right? Because they're not a confirmation bias for you. So once they're in your life, the person who is hot and cold, the person who's emotionally disassociated, or the individual who is emotionally unavailable, as we like to call it nowadays, all of a sudden, well, I have to use these tricks and I have to, play these games. We won't call them games, but we'll still say, I got game. Think about that. Think about the irony in that. We say, I got game or how to work on your game, but then we say, I'm not playing games. No, you are playing games. That's exactly what you're doing. That is witchcraft. I don't care what else you want to call. I'm putting that name on it. I'm going to call it witchcraft from now on because that's exactly what it is. So you are using this witchcraft in order to get somebody to behave in a specific way that you want them to behave. And then you're mad when there's witchcraft performed upon you. That's how this thing works. Like attracts like. You are going to continue to attract the very energy that you are giving out into the universe. That's how that works. So if you're in that scarcity and fearful mentality, you're going to attract that very same energy to yourself. And when you're using witchcraft, you are in a place of desperation. You are desperate to get somebody. You don't believe that you're enough in and of yourself. Right? When you don't do that inner work and you don't come to a place of facing those inadequacies, the feelings of shame and guilt, the feelings of not enoughness, when you don't do that work, you will inherently feel like you're not enough, and therefore you will start to play games. And these dating coaches are not telling you to focus on you completely. They're telling you focusing on you is just getting yourself some muscles, or getting yourself whatever in the best shape possible, which is good. That's great, fantastic. I'm so happy for you. I hope that for you, and I wish that for everybody. But they tell you to work on the external. They tell you work on quote unquote game, right? Say these things, do these things. You're acting. It's not real. And again, I am a firm believer and a teacher in the law of attraction, the laws of vibration, universal principle, quantum mechanics, quantum physics, whatever label you want to put on it. But I still understand that if you are simply pretending for pretending's sake, it's still fake, right? Well, act it until you, but no, that ain't what we're dealing with. We're dealing with straight phoniness and manipulation. And again, I'm not also going to feel sorry for the person on the other side. I'm not the person to, I'm not going to egg you on in the things that you are participating in. Like, people will come to me and say, I'm in this toxic relationship. I say, well, why are you still in it? Well, there's this and this going on. Listen, I appreciate you as a human being. I love you as a human being, but you got to understand something. You are choosing to be a participant in your own destruction. That is the gospel truth. You are choosing to be a participant in your own destruction. I'm not victim blaming. I'm not victim shaming. I'm not saying you're wrong or right for it. I'm just letting you know that if you are still in that relationship, you are a participant. Now we can start looking at, why is it that I'm participating in these destructive relationships? Now we can truly mature from where we are and to evolve into where we want to be. That's when we can start really dealing with these things, folks. These dating coaches are not going to tell you this. They're not going to tell you do the inner work. They're not going to tell you let go of the guilt, right? Shameless plug. My first published book, Doing Me Guilt-Free. They're not going to tell you to work on those aspects. They're going to tell you that it's the other person. You just got to vet people better. You just got to find better people. It ain't about vetting better people. It's about attracting different people and keeping different people in your experience. Example, if you are somebody who is addicted to chaos, right? You have the self-sabotaging belief systems. You can be in relationship with the best person, the most qualified prospect on the planet. You have vetted this person like Apple Incorporated is hiring for a vice president, right? You've gone through 55 interviews. But if you still feel that you're inadequate, not good enough for that relationship, you will find a way to sabotage it. I promise you that. I promise you that. You cannot keep something in your physical experience that you have not bought into internally. And this is the stuff that them dating coaches are not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you this. And they're not going to tell you this because some of them just frankly don't know, right? They go out, they do a couple things, and they tell you, like, I'm an expert at dating. They go on a few dates and they tell me I'm an expert. Like, I done my fair share of being in a market, being in the pool, as they call it. Now it's more like a cesspool, if anything. But I still know that I'm not going to call myself a damn dating expert, quote unquote, right? I have my own opinions about it. I have my own stances and beliefs about it. But, you could take my advice and it might not be best for you or where you are at this very moment in time, right? It might have to be tailored for you where you are. But one thing I do understand is the self, because I've been working on that my entire life. That's been something I've been cognizant of my entire life. And for the last decade of my life, I've been intentionally focused in this space. Intentionally. And I understand that if you have two people coming into a relationship who are two halves, they do not make a whole. That's not how that actually works. You just got two halves together. That's how that works, right? Oh, you complete me. No, they do not complete you. You need to complete you first. Go back to your corner and complete you. Draw the entire circle, not just 180 degrees of it. Draw the whole circle and have two circles come together. And that's when you have magic happening. Every single time. That's when you got sparks flying in the air every single time. So, you find yourself listening to these damn dating coaches, man. They told me to do this, but then this didn't work. That sometimes, it might work, right? Sometimes you have a belief enough in this dating expert, dating coach that things might work. Like when I was in the red pill situation in the manosphere community, quote unquote community, there were things that I did that worked. But the type of relationships that I got or the quality of relationships was trash. Absolute. I'm not saying the people are trash. I'm just saying the type of relationship, the type of person. I was showing up as, right? The emotional distance that I had, the hot and cold, the playing of the games, the witchcraft that I was trying to perform on these individuals, and then vice versa. They were trash relationships. They were not real relationships. They were not sustainable, or I wouldn't even want to sustain one of those relationships. That's why they're not here right now. So I really had to let this be known. This is a PSA for whoever's going to take this, run with it, right? This is a bag. Run with the bag. Don't fumble the bag. Please, 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 please start thinking for yourself. That's all I need you to do today. Even more than buying a copy of my first published book, Doing Me Guilt-Free, even more than that, all I want you to do is just start thinking for yourself. Take some time to think for yourself. Turn your phone off. Turn your laptop off. Stop reading the books. Stop all of that consumption and just take a moment just to think for yourself and say, why on earth? Why? What on earth am I? I'm about to do my Nigerian. I don't want to get into. I'm African, by the way, so it's not racist. But you really got to start thinking for yourself. Why am I doing these things? What am I actually looking for, right? And you will realize everything has to do with you. It is an inside job. It's an inside out job. That's what I like to call it. So that being said, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. You know, continue to, I don't want you just consuming content to consume content. Really start looking for information that is self-focused first. That is how to develop myself, not just personal development, but how to do the shadow work, the inner work, right? Dealing with those internal aspects that I'm looking to solve in the external. That's what we need to start getting into. But besides that, y'all, get yourself a copy of that book. It's going to be in the description below. It's going to change your life. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. The moment you open that up and you read about 3 pages, you're going to be like, okay, this is where we at. It's time for evolution, guys. It's time for expansion. We're done with whatever was. We're stepping into what is. And for the ones who know, you know what I'm talking about when I say that. You know.